Hi guys, we are here on the Bitcoin USD breakdown starting on the 1 hour time frame. Of course, we look at 4 hour, 30 minutes and 15 time frames as well. But let's get stuck in today and see what's happened. So right now we have created a higher low around this area here, right? So let's even draw a box around it. So this is the area that we're looking at right now. We obviously have our previous low here, our new high and our higher low. So what this indicates to me, especially because we are bouncing off this pivot line, is that there probably is going to be more of a surge up to this area here. Now, of course, we have taken out this last high. We've just poked through it. So there is the potential, because we've taken out all the imbalance over here, that we might come up and then fall back down. But if that is the case, what are we going to be looking for? We're going to be looking for market structure like this. What would happen in this scenario is it comes up to all these imbalance areas up here, 1 and 2. In fact, let's zoom in so you get a better look at that. Got imbalance here, and of course we've got imbalance here as well. And it'll probably come up to one of these two areas. And if we get that fib tool, we get that retracement fib tool on it as well. What we can see is in these areas is that really nice area that I love, 0.786 to 0.71. So that's the one that I am going to be aiming for right here, right now. If it does want to go back down, that's the scenario that we're talking about here. We are going to see a lot of those wick patterns, it wicking through here, maybe coming up, but we're just going to see a lot of wicks just shooting around this area. But no candlestick should be closing so high. Like we can see over here, what are the candlesticks that we consistently look out for? These ones. Smaller bodies, bigger wicks. Smaller bodies, bigger wicks. Smaller bodies, bigger wicks. So on and so forth. We can see a load of wicks just hanging around these areas, especially here with a lot of smaller bodies with bigger wicks. They're all bouncing around. They all seem to be hitting this line right here, as we can see, especially around it, wicking through it, touching it, and then we see it fall off. And look at this one, a perfect entry should you have wanted to go into it. It literally comes, touches this top area right here, and then starts to fall off. That would have been perfect if you did something like this. You hopped on there, you put your stop loss there, and then obviously you aim all the way for the bottom for roughly a 2.88, so nearly a 3%er there. And if you had done what I do, which is normally a 2% and a 3%er, you would have obviously made it. So that's what we are looking for here, if it wants to go down. So what I would be suggesting to you guys is where to put your stop loss, where to put your take profit, is short it somewhere around here. Let's just be safe and put, you know, our stop loss somewhere around this area. Do I think it's going to wick that high? Probably not. And then we can aim all the way down for this line. Again, something around a 2%er. And if it does want to fall through, of course, we'd be getting it somewhere down here, which would be another 3%er over there. That's what I'd be looking for, but that is all dependent on this market structure going ahead. That's what we're looking for. I would be putting an alert on a price alert right here, seeing what's going to go down. Of course, if we get these big candlesticks and bullish movement and it just completely obliterates that, say the market or the candlestick closes on this line or above, then it's no longer valid. That idea is no longer valid, and we'd be looking for something to come up here. Again, we are seeing a lot of wicks around here, is jumping around this line. It's consistently testing it. It seems to be respecting it for the most part. Yes, I know this one came through, but that was because there was a lot of imbalance here, and of course it's going to try and take it out. So I do believe it will come up here and fall down, which is weird because we've created a new high and new higher low, which would indicate that we are being very bullish here. But what I would have to do for that is find some imbalance. Hopefully with this big move, we would be looking to come on a pullback. Say it did shoot up, we'd get in on this pullback, before it continues to come up, so we get something around here. But we have to wait and see what the market's doing, because it's only just recently changing from our current, how shall I put this, bearish cycle, our bearish trend, where we, although it's a higher low here, we get this lower high, lower lows, lower high, lower lows, lower high, and now it's broken through. So is it confirmed just because we have a higher high and a higher low? It's really good signs, but you know, we need to wait a little bit longer. So that's what it's looking at on the 1 hour there. On the 4 hour, can we see anything? Let me just move this back. We are bouncing around on this level, so if it were to come up and continue to push up like we've been talking about, I mean, we're already down here. On the 4 hour, it probably makes sense to do something like this, just in case it comes all the way down and takes out this tiny little bit of liquidity. It bounces off here, and then you can obviously try and shoot up around here for a 2%er. Again, you would be very worried about this area here should it break through, because look, we have a lot of liquidity just sitting there, which is a lot closer than anything that we've got. A lot closer. In fact, we have no liquidity areas on the 4 hour apart from here. It's pretty much set in stone right now. So it is bouncing and it is using these little pivot lines to continue to go. So who's to say it won't, especially on the 4 hour. We have a higher, lower high, higher low, lower high though. That's what we're looking at in the 4 hour. So that's actually looking more like we are continuing to fall down. So I will recant that. And if you were doing this and you were trend trading, it would probably make a lot of sense to then target this area somewhere around here. Maybe even put your stop loss just above here if it did want to come up. And then you get a 1 to 3. Because we are trying to look for that downwards movement. Because especially in the 4 hour, you can see now it definitely is more bearish and has been bearish for quite some time, as we can see by this trend line here. Really showing us that it is quite bearish, even from the lows. In fact, it's extending. You could say that from here, you know, the lows are getting higher, but it doesn't really make any sense. You could say the channel is starting to restrict, but that's from this low to here. You could say, oh, maybe from here, but you're cutting off that low, so it wouldn't work. So on the 4 hour, we would probably be looking at something like that. If we go 30 minutes, it's going to be something very similar to the 1 hour. What can we see? It's come up, we've made a lower low, lower high, higher low, lower high at the moment. It's probably just going to mess around. As we said, there is actually no liquidity whatsoever. So again, it would be a really nice opportunity if we could come up into these areas, because again, you can see so much liquidity through here, especially this 0.78, 0.71 area. It would be great to come up there and then see it fall down. So exactly what we're looking at on the 1 hour. Do I think it's just going to break through? We do have these really nice 2 wicks here, but I would need to see this market structure continue over here where it's wicking on this 0.5. If it continued to do something like this with massive wicks, much like what we can see here, right, and then maybe get a few smaller bodies around, a few more wicks, then I would be saying to myself, let's hop in. Let's hop in for a sell and let's hop in really quick. Much like when it's over here. You can see, again, smaller bodies, bigger wicks, right? Smaller bodies, bigger wicks. Even around here, what we were looking at previously. It's really close, tightly together, and it's rejecting off a line that appears to be coming from somewhere over here. And we've tested it 3 separate occasions, hours apart. So that's why it'd be really good if it started testing here, because it's hours apart. We see those wicks, we see the smaller bodies, we see the larger wicks, and so on and so forth. If we go into the 15 minutes, again, we're looking for the exact same thing. We are bouncing off here. If we started to see this structure, like we see here, start to play around, wick off this line, forget this pivot line here, again, you'd be going in on something roughly around here. But you would be looking at going for this line here. So it's a How much is this? If I zoom out, because it's massive. A 1.71, which is not the best in the world, but hey, it could be a lot worse as well. That's a big stop loss. And again, if it does go all the way down through here, you've basically got a 1 to 2. Yeah, 2.44. So either one of them looks really good. Anyway, guys, that is it for this episode. I hope you have found some good setups, and let's get really lucky this week and smash out a few more trades. Okay, guys, bye.